What's going on, everyone? You listen to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So guys, before I get into today's video, I just want to reiterate, as I still have a couple people asking me about this, and I mentioned it in one of my earlier videos, but no, I do not have a Patreon page, nor will I ever have a Patreon page. I know that a lot of channels do this, and that's really great for them, honestly. I just feel weird accepting, money from people for literally just talking about basketball. I really do appreciate the support, and it's incredibly generous. But please do not send me any money. Use that money for something that will be put to good use, whether spending it on yourself or your family, or donate it to a charity. I'm just talking Bulls basketball, guys. It's nothing special, so don't send me any money. As I've said before, if you do want to support the channel, I always do appreciate a like on the video, but only if you like the content though. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the uniqueness of this NBA season and the potential impact not only it will really have on the Chicago Bulls, but for the league at large. Since this is a Bulls channel though, I'll mainly just be focusing on the impact it will have on our team. Now, this really sparked my interest after the Bulls' last preseason game, in which you had 5 players who were out from the game due to quote-unquote NBA protocol. Now, teams do not have to disclose the particulars of what this entails and why a player had to miss a particular game, but it's most likely this has something to do with the COVID-19 protocol, in which players either test positive for the virus, or they were potentially exposed to it in some fashion, or they're exhibiting COVID-like symptoms, which obviously the symptoms are very broad. Anybody who might be suffering from the common cold could potentially show the same symptoms. So what does this mean for the NBA, its players, coaches, and the potential, game time decision adjustments that would need to be made to a given roster? Now, in last night's game, this obviously didn't impact any of the Bulls starters, and again, it was just a preseason game, so it doesn't really impact the team a great deal because it has no impact to their record and standing in the East. It is just a preseason game. But as you know, we are entering the regular season in a little over a week from now. And, the thought of 5 or more players out due to NBA protocol is somewhat unsettling, especially if it's a big game that has potential seeding impact. Now, I know the NBA is anticipating that some games will need to be postponed if there are too many players that fall into that protocol, and they have to, miss the game as a result. You can't have a game when there are too many people that are going to be out. So this is why the NBA has only released the schedule for the first half of the season, so they can make adjustments for any postponed games from the first half into the second half. But let's say it ends up only being 1 or 2 players that fall within the protocol, and they have to miss a game or even a few games as a result. Obviously the game is going to continue because it's just 1 to 2 players that would be missing it. But what if these are your top 2 players? That places significant impact not only on the team that is missing the players on their roster, but also the team that's playing against the shorthanded team, right? It puts them at an advantage when you have the opposing team's best players that are going to be out. Now, I'm sure you're all asking, well, isn't this always the case in any NBA season, because players get injured unexpectedly and they have to miss time from the team that could be, your best player all the way down to your 12th man. But the difference here is that this could happen to a lot of players this season, and it could happen much more frequently. I mean, here we are in only the 2nd game of the preseason, and 5 Bulls players had to sit out from the game due to the NBA protocol. So for the Bulls, this can mean a number of things, and really, this does apply to every team in the league. But like I said, we're focusing on the Bulls here. But for the Bulls, a team that is likely fighting for a playoff spot or a play-in game, you essentially have to ensure that your guys stay healthy and follow the NBA protocol guidelines at all times, because every game is really critical. There really is no room for error here. So as an example, when you had that video that surfaced of Otto Porter partying with a group of friends without a mask on, as much as I'd like to say, the players should have the freedom to do what they want with their lives, in a way, these next few months, there really need to be strict parameters in place to ensure the guys stay healthy, not just for themselves, but also for the health of their teammates and limiting exposure to them. I mean, for most of these guys, given their age, their health, they're more than likely fully able to recover from the virus, but we still don't quite know the long-term impacts of COVID, and it could have a detrimental impact to a player's short-term or even long-term career for that matter. Now, obviously, this will be an evolving situation as the season goes on. Of course, we have a vaccine that is being administered, and once the players get the vaccine, then, this will likely no longer be as much of an issue. But until then, my hope is that our guys will stay healthy, continue to adhere to the guidelines and protocols the NBA has put in place. Of course, not everything is within their control in terms of the overall exposure and health, and that applies to everyone in the league. And again, this is why it's going to be an unprecedented season. Never before in NBA history, have they had to deal with a pandemic. You're going to see players in and out of lineups across all teams. This requires coaches to adjust their rotations and lineups frequently. And that could present challenges for the Bulls since, Billy Donovan's philosophy on coaching generally, even, back when he was coaching at the college level, is sticking to a 9 to 10 man rotation. He is going to need to be a little more flexible, more adaptable to the potential changing landscape of the league and his lineup, which it does sound like Billy Donovan is aware of. I mean, he himself mentioned it last night in his post-game interview that they have to be prepared for anything and need to be flexible in changes to the overall rotations. Let me know what you guys think though. How are you feeling in terms of the uniqueness of this season? And do you think it presents challenges overall for teams to maintain any kind of level of consistency? And does it allow for really an equal playing field across the league? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan as I post daily Bulls content, and I will catch you guys in the next one.